Hello there and welcome. I'm Bob Proctor, chairman of the Proctor Gallagher Institute. And I'm here working in my studio today, and I've had a number of people ask me about our coaching program. We have Bob Proctor coaching program, and we have coaching people all over the world. And I get a lot of questions about it, and I just got the idea sitting here that I should make a video and just give you an overview of what our program is all about. First of all, it's a 13-month program. And the people that come into this program are individuals that want to make a definite shift in their life. That's really what they want to do. And I guide them to make that shift. Now, you know, an awful lot of people have an idea, a preconceived idea of maybe what coaching is all about. And it's where somebody's working with you this week and they'll say, what are you going to do this week, Bob? And I tell them, and then next week they'll say, well, did you do it? Well, odds are pretty good that most people don't do what they plan to do. Now, that's rather sad, but it's true. You see, you and I are programmed. We have a program in our subconscious mind, and it's called a paradigm. And that paradigm really controls our behavior. Our school system is set up in such a way to help us gather information. But we have people graduating from universities all over the world that have all kinds of schooling, have passed numerous exams, and maybe very beautiful degrees, but yet they're not making anything happen. Some of them can't even find work. So you have to ask why. Well, I think our school system fails to grasp the idea. The part of our mind that gathers information, that knows what we should do, is not the part that controls the behavior of this thing we call our body. And it's our behavior that dictates our results. If we want to change the result, we've got to change our behavior. So you have to look backwards then. Well, where does our behavior come from? Well, I've been studying this now for 55 years. In 1961, a man gave me this book. It's Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. My book is falling apart. I've been reading this every day now for 55 years. I'm in my 55th year right now. And he said, Bob, if you do exactly what I tell you, you can have anything you want. Well, now, I didn't believe that, but I believed he believed it. And he said, look at your results, Bob. You're not doing well. You're not earning any money. You're not happy. And he was right. I wasn't doing well. So he said, why don't you read this book? I didn't read anything at the time. He said, you read? And I said, yeah, I can read, but not well. And so he said, read this book. Now he said, the book is the essence of 500 of the world's most powerful thinkers. Napoleon Hill spent his whole life putting it together. And he said, if he spent his whole life putting it together, I think it'd be a prudent move on your part if you spent the rest of your life trying to understand and apply it. So I did that. And I followed his direction. My income, this is in 1961, my income went from $4,000 a year to $175,000 in a year. And then it went over $1 million. I was prepared to do anything honest to earn some extra money. I was earning $4,000, but I owed $6,000. I owed everybody money, and I never had enough money to pay them. So I was prepared to do anything honest. I started cleaning floors. I started to clean one office, $15 a time, and I washed the floor twice a month. And then it started to spiral. Well, you know, in less than 5 years, I was cleaning offices in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, London, England. I was earning over $1 million a year, and I sat and I started to ask myself, what happened? If anybody asked me, what did you do? I would have been at a loss to really explain it. I would have said I'm cleaning offices, but a lot of people were cleaning offices, and they weren't doing what I was doing. And I say, I'm reading Think and Grow Rich. A lot of people read that book, but they weren't doing what I was doing. So I started to ask questions. I had been raised to believe, probably much the same as you, that if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. Well, I wasn't that smart, but I was earning a lot of money. I was raised to believe if you don't go to school, you won't get a good job. Well, I only went to high school for 2 months. I didn't have a good job. I owned the whole company. And so I thought, I wonder what other things I believe are not true. I have found most of our beliefs are absurd. They're passed down from one generation to the next. Many of our beliefs, they were instilled at the moment of conception. And then they build. And then in our environment when we're born. And we're programmed by the people we're surrounded by. So I started to study. It took me 9.5 years. And when I got the dots to connect, all I wanted to do was teach the information. And I'll tell you what I've found. I have found the average person does not think. They do not think. I've got a paper here written by a gentleman who passed away a number of years ago, but he had a doctorate's degree in thinking. And I met him. I was talking to him. It took him 11 years to get this doctorate's degree in thinking. He said nobody had a degree in thinking. Now, he said thinking is a skill which can be learned just as we learn skills such as typing and playing the piano. Now, he says very few public schools offer courses devoted expressly to teaching thinking. Rather, we are expected to learn and teach thinking as a byproduct of learning mathematics, reading, science, history, trade, and so forth. And we do learn a lot about thinking in this way. The trouble is, we learn our thinking skills in bits and pieces, and we never put it together as an overall picture. If asked to describe what all is required in order to think effectively, most people would be at a loss to give a complete account. Thus, we are unable to assess our own thinking skills or systematically teach the skill of thinking to others. Now, you see, the sad truth is that almost everybody believes that we think. Everybody thinks. Hardly anyone thinks. I worked with Earl Nightingale for 5 years, a great broadcaster and personal development guru. He said if the average person said they were thinking, they would be speechless. You see, all of nature's creatures respond to outside stimuli. We see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Anything coming in from outside, that causes mental activity. But mental activity does not constitute thinking. We've got to use our higher faculties. We've been trained to go through our senses, go by what we see outside. Well, after 9.5 years, I got the dots to connect. I found out why I changed. I've gone into some of the largest companies in the world. Many, many years ago, I went into the Prudential of America, largest insurance company in the world. We raised their sales by hundreds of millions of dollars. I knew nothing about selling insurance. They already knew how to sell insurance. Their problem was they weren't doing what they knew how to do. And I went in and I started to work with them. And I got them doing what they already knew how to do. I was showing them how to change their paradigm, change that subconscious conditioning. And like that, sales start to happen. Well, along with a team of very brilliant people that I've attracted into our company, we put together a coaching program. And it's a 13-month program. Now, this program is run different than the way you think coaching programs might be run. But it's based on over 50 years of research, and it's based on the results we get. You go through this coaching program and do what I'm suggesting you do, and I guarantee you your results will change like night and day. We had one man, his first name was Chris. He went through this program. He said he had to put a couple of credit cards together to pay for it. But he said, I want you to know I just had my first $1 million month. Now, his life changed dramatically. He come back and went through the coaching program a couple of times. And that's not uncommon. People do that. Where do we start? Well, we start where you have to start. First of all, if you're going to change something, you have to have a very good reason to change it. So we start out with goals, with the goal achiever. You see, most people, I think they're operating with some wrong information about goals. Setting a goal is one thing. Achieving a goal is another thing. Setting the goal is done. It's an intellectual exercise. Achieving the goal is a lawful process. And this whole universe operates by law. Now, we go through that program and we show you how to establish the right goal. And we get you excited about your goal. Then we take you through another program that I put together a number of years ago. It's one of the most comprehensive personal growth programs you'll ever find. And we cover all kinds of information about you. This information that I unearthed over this 9.5-year period that I was trying to figure out why I was winning. It's the Bourne Rich program. I wrote a book, Bourne Rich. It's in multiple languages and it's all over the world. Then we take you into another one. In fact, it's the program. It's based on the book that the movie, The Secret, that I had a place in, called The Science of Getting Rich. See, getting rich is a science. It's an absolute science. It's not an accident that you'll find people who are functionally illiterate and they're worth millions of dollars. They can neither read nor write, but they're worth millions of dollars. You'll find other people with maybe a doctor's degree in economics and they're broke. That's a difficult thing to understand. There is a science to getting rich, and we teach you, and we go through this. Now, each one of these aspects is done over a period of time. And I have meetings with you, and I answer questions, and you come up with questions, and I'll answer all the questions. And you'll hear the questions. As I answer the question for one person, you'll hear it. And that works very well. After you go through the program, The Science of Getting Rich, and we take you through step by step with all kinds of slides and information, then we get into a program called Working with the Law. Do you know, I quoted Dr. Wernher von Braun, who was the father of the space program, in the movie The Secret. He said the natural laws of this universe are so precise that we don't have any difficulty building spaceships so we can send people to the moon, and we can time the landing with the precision of a fraction of a second. He said these laws must have been set by someone. And he said after years of studying the spectacular mysteries of the cosmos, he said, I'm led into a firm belief in the existence of God. For a long time it was believed that science and religion were antagonistic. They're really not. They're joined together. One studies the cause, the other studies the effect. This program has a strong spiritual foundation, not religious, spiritual foundation. And I believe if a program does not have a spiritual foundation, it's incomplete. So we go through those laws and we help you understand them. And then we get into something called a success puzzle. Now, here you're coming in towards the end of the 13-month period. And as you go through that, you start to see why success has been such a puzzle. Why 3% of the population are earning 97% of all the money. And we put it together for you in parts, and you study it. It's like lights going on. You think, wow. And the last part of this program, it's really focused on you. It's called the winner's image. And it talks about the cybernetic mechanism that exists within us. It's a science and control and communication in the animal and some machines. You see, you had an image of you built before you ever left home, before you ever started to go to school. When you were just a little infant, the image that you hold of you was formed. And sometimes that image can be stifling. Sometimes it can hold people back. I was very shy, up until I started to read this and started to be coached by a man that really knew what he was talking about. And I overcome my shyness. Do you know why? Because I realize I'm just every bit as good as you. You're every bit as good as me. You see, if I feel superior to you, I'm going to feel inferior with someone else. We're equal. We're on an equal playing field. Now, some people have more than others, but there's no one any better than anybody else. And the winner's image is a phenomenal program, and that's where we bring this home. At the end of the 13 months, you're going to be a different person. You're going to be living in a different world. But clearly understand, this program has been designed to help you alter your paradigm and change your results. If you have a preconceived idea of how you should be coached, I would suggest you set that aside. Trust our 50 years of experience. We've helped thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. We've made many millionaires. We have the endorsement of some of the largest companies in the world. Our company is run by an absolutely brilliant woman, Sandra Gallagher, who was a banking attorney until this information changed her life, and all she wanted to do was work at it. We would like you to join our coaching program. And you know something? As we go through the year, you're going to absolutely love it. Give it some real thought. Think about it. And understand this. We spend money on almost everything under the sun except our own development. And that's where everything lies, within ourselves. I want you to look around everything you have in your life. Most of it you don't need. You know how you got it? Because you wanted it. And when you really want to change the course of your life and begin to be happy, healthy, and wealthy, because that's the way we're supposed to be, we're God's highest form of creation, you'll set aside the time and the money, and you'll say, I want to go through this. And 13 months later, you'll be a totally different person. This is Bob Proctor. On behalf of everyone here at the Proctor Gallagher Institute, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this short video.